my perspective, I didn't get a whole lot of training classes in as a student. Did a lot of assisting this weekend.
He was too busy teaching.
That's right.
Yeah, I was on the range teaching a lot this weekend, and that's good because that's where my passion is. That's where I'm comfortable, and I love being in that element. But I got to work with an instructor that's local to us. That honestly, I didn't know him until this weekend.
Who was that?
That was Paul Carlson.
Okay. Yeah.
From, Safety
Yeah.
Solutions.
Oh, is he from the Cleveland area?
He
What
is.
was the company name? Because I jumped on you there.
I'm sorry.
What was his company?
Safety Solutions Academy.
Yeah, because I didn't know Paul either, and he impressed me.
Yeah, he was a
absolutely.
very good instructor.
Yep.
And it was a real pleasure to work with him on the range. Mike was in that class. And I mean, he brought so many people, a step further than I think what they thought they were going to get to in a matter of a 4 hour, and without people even realizing that they were doing it, in all honesty. We had very competent shooters in that class. We had newer shooters in that class, and Paul was equally right with them. Those of us that were helping him, I mean, we were right there helping Paul, but I mean, Paul had his hands, he touched each student. The one thing I will point out, I took a class this morning with Tory. We were with Adam Wench from Defenders USA doing, what was that?
Defensive tactics, yeah, great class.
Oh, it was absolutely. Now, I will say, from my perspective, with my experience, it wasn't necessarily new information, but the way it was presented was so deep and so thought-provoking. And I think that, and I had never seen it presented in that way. And I think that was just absolutely amazing to me, how he reached everybody in that room. And we went from everything to preventative to, mindset and different strategies on how to do things to what it's actually like after an encounter.
Going off of that with Adam doing the tactics, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like with the instruction here, if you wanted a rifle class, you were being taught by a rifle person.
Correct.
We wanted a tactics class, we got taught by a tactics guy.
Right.
Where else can you go? You're not going to go to your local range and say, I want you to teach me how to shoot, and have somebody that's a pistol person.
There was
Which is
some,
I
I did defensive shotgun. I mean, who teaches defensive shotgun?
Yeah, that made
So
sense.
you're not much anymore.
You're not getting somebody that's looking at a curriculum that doesn't really know what they're doing. They're just going off of what the company wants.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Your instructor knew his stuff, either it be through years of experience or years of training or...
Yeah, I mean, and I might put you guys on the spot a little bit, but just thinking about the instructors you worked with, because I want to cite them.
Absolutely.
So, Riley T. Bowman from ConcealedCarry.com.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
the director of training for ConcealedCarry.com, just a monster shooter.
This pistol intelligence
Oh,
class
yeah.
continues to blow
So
my
Chuck Haggard was there. If you don't know who Chuck Haggard is, you need to kind of look.
Yeah.
The entire ASP crew, John taught, Neil taught, Stephanie taught, a bunch of the ASP instructors that have gone through their instructor development taught or AI. Let me see, AJ Zito. Assistant instructor,
Okay.
I'm sorry, thank you.
Yep.
Who else? Oh gosh, there was so many.
Brian Hill.
Wow, how can I
You can't forget
Right.
Brian.
Brian Hill was teaching.
Yep, the complete combatant.
And then I mentioned Carrie Dudenhofer.
Yep, we talked about Carrie.
Katie Johnson had that class.
Chris Cypher.
Chris
Oh,
Cypher.
yeah.
How can you forget Chris Cypher?
Yeah,
I know we're gonna forget some.
Yeah.
I met Chris and it's like, dude, I want to know everything you know.
I remember you saying that to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people felt, was because there was such a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, and these are top tier people.
Right.
This isn't bargain bin instruction.
No.
These
No.
are top tier national level instructors.
But
Yeah.
again, it speaks, I know we've mentioned this, but it's to me it's such a valid point, something you don't always see. Top tier instructors, part of what in my book makes them top tier totally accessible.
Yeah,
They're
every
not.
one of
They're
them.
not the ivory tower teaching you down. They are there, and I think we mentioned this as we've just talked off camera before. They find value in you having success and you realizing your potentials and your goals and seeing things. That jazzes them.
Right.
It's not
about them teaching
Absolutely
somebody.
not.
It's about what that person did.
Well,
Right.
Go ahead.
And I think it's probably important to circle back to this. They all volunteered.
That's exactly what I was going to
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
They donated their time.
They did not get a penny for their time. It was talk that, they could ask, covers their expenses, but the rumor I heard is that none of them even turned in receipts.
I think that's probably a valid
That's
rumor.
Well,
And they
yeah.
could also be, not just their volunteering their time, it was mentioned as well. They could be teaching elsewhere during this time.
Oh yeah, for
Making
sure.
So there's, it's a double,
Yeah, these are in-demand folks.
But they value the mission with the kids. They value students desiring to learn of all different. It really,
And it's, you know what I thought too, and I'm sorry to butt in, but what I
You're
thought
good.
was really interesting from a dynamic perspective is the entire environment. They are very accessible. You know, where if you're normally doing a 2-day, there's so much work to be done. You have to get through the work for the most part. But here, even after the classes are over for the day, the people are around and you can just talk.
Yeah, we could go eat lunch with them, or we
Right.
could go.
Yeah.
They weren't off at an instructor's table. They were sitting.
And also, again, the assistant instructor to instructor ratio, some of these guys, they taught their class and they went and assisted another class.
Right.
And so, the ratio of people there made them, you could, while one revolution shooting, you could be back behind the line and talking with them and saying, what do you think about my grip? Or what do you think about, my sighting and things like that? And, getting their input and add an extra value to the class.
to speak to somebody too for a moment, because I'm hoping that as some people will see this, there might be some people who, again, they've never had the experience of a conference, active self-protection national conference, or anything else. One of the benefits of it too, so you get a lot of people, if you think of a conference, there's a lot of people there. That ratio that you talked about also helped keep the line very safe while coaching and everything else. So if safety is your understandable concern because you don't have the experience in these, we don't know what we don't know, that was something else that never was lacking. It was never an afterthought. It was, we've got a good ratio, we're really taking care of things, we're monitoring. That was never a concern.
Yeah, everything was run very safely. Definitely top concern. Each class, started out with the safety.
Oh yeah.
And you heard it was the same brief every time, but you heard it every time, which
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with
No
that.
corners were cut.
No.
Not at all.